you are.
That is amazing.
Wow. Wrong one. Hello, everyone. Because all we need to do is give you permission for you to be you.
Oh my goodness.
My life's about the gift of the gift. The one that says one, Andrea. Because all we need to do is give you permission for you to be you.
Oh my goodness.
When you know who you are, you'll know what to do.
That's amazing.
This moment, you've been waiting for this your whole life.
Oh my goodness, I wish I was in the same room because I just want to hug you.
You can't fix a problem using the same thinking that created it. And by the way, beautiful, you didn't do anything wrong.
Thank you.
Your show is not a show, it's an experience.
What do you do, Stephen?
I'm the universal courier that's been sent to answer your doubt.
Thank you.
What the heck is happening right now?
And it's happening live.
My life's about the gift I've been given to make you the gift that you are.
Ready cameras, studio standby.
Video is ready for live.
If I enter your life, it will change. Start investing in the world called your dreams.
Are we ready for live? Hello, everybody, and welcome to show number 2 of Inspiring Insights with Stephen DeSady. I'm Andrea Sanchez, host for today, all the way from Houston, Texas, and joined, of course, by our man of the hour, Stephen DeSady. And then I will introduce our guest. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. Good morning from tomorrow, everyone. Good morning from tomorrow. Last week, I said something about people come into your life for a reason, a season, and a lifetime. And our jobs is not to evaluate why they came, why they stayed, or why they left, but who we became while they were with us, whether that's for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. What I wanted to add to that today is we can often know what is happening in someone's response to us, someone's activities around us, someone's behavior towards others, towards ourselves. We can often understand what, but we don't know why. And there's that great story of the guy that was on the train with his 2 children who were very, very disobedient. And a number of people on the train were getting uncomfortable until some person trumped up and said, "Hey, mate, can you actually quieten your kids down?" And he looked across at the gentleman and said, "We've just come from their mother's funeral and I don't know how to tell them Mum's never coming home." So my comment to you is reason, season, lifetime. Who did you become while you were with them? And take haste and caution in assessing what someone's doing if you don't understand why. Who's on the show today, Andrea?
Thank you, Stephen, for those wise words. We have 2 amazing souls. Let's start off with Shannon. Shannon, how are you today?
I'm doing fantastic.
All the way from New York.
Yes.
Wonderful to have you. And then we have Ramona. How are you, Ramona?
Hi, Andrea. Hi, Stephen. I'm doing great. Thank you.
How you doing? With the hat
And
on.
Minnie says hello as well.
Minnie's
My
on the
dog,
show.
Minnie, mascot of the show.
Yeah.
So before we get into the master class, let's take a look at this little promo.
Because all we need to do is give you permission for you to be you.
Oh my goodness.
My life's about the gift I've been given to make you the gift that you are.
That is amazing.
Wow.
Okay, on to next things, which is our master class. Master classes, if you're new to the show, is where Stephen gives us a bite of what's to come. Very insightful lessons. And so we're going to start off with our master class today. And today we're going to be speaking about, Stephen, do you want to give a preview?
Yeah, one of the things we're going to do in season 1, we just did master classes. We did some tax afterwards on the whiteboard. This season, we're going to do them in cycles, usually 4 or 5 weeks. And the cycle we'll enter, and I'll give you an overview of it today, but we'll start it next week, is actually called atonement. And so I just wanted to explain what the concept of the atonement cycle is. So what is actually atonement? Go to the next one, Andrea. So I wanted to get away from just actually having individual things. So atonement is making amendments for a wrong or an injury, and cycles is the repetition of occurrences in order and in intervals. So in Sadieland, atonement cycles is amending the occurrence of wrongful repetition. Amending the occurrences of wrongful repetition. So over the next 5 weeks, we're going to be looking at 5 different areas that could actually amend some of the occurrences of wrongful repetition that may be present in your life personally, professionally, or spiritually. And the first of those, and we did this last week, we're going to do it again next week as we sort of run through the first couple of pilots of the show. It's the concept of fostering forgiveness. Have you ever, and you've all heard me say this, have you accepted that forgiveness is a commitment in your life? It's not a feeling. And are you ready to accept your current circumstances, choices, and life conditions? And have you accepted that they are yours? And listen to these, everyone. They are yours to manage, accept, release, defeat, and wait for it, everyone, to conquer. The whole concept in week 1 of atonement is fostering forgiveness. In week 2, we'll go to the concept of trusting self and letting go, and ask yourself this question. Have you accepted the key to unlocking your fears in these challenging times and in your past is held within your self-trust? And have you accepted, and listen to this, everyone, because I know I've been an expert at this for half a century. Have you accepted to second guess your every thought, your every step is simply convincing yourself false hope is real and within your reach? In the 3rd week of atonement, we'll head over to confidence to give. Have you accepted that by committing to forgiving your failings, trusting your next effort is the key to your confidence? Because most people have accepted they don't seek confidence within. They've convinced themselves they're going to find it in others or in something else. Week 4 of atonement, we're going to do a thing called your story seduction. Have you accepted the greatest asset of influence and relatability is in your story? And we're going to teach on how to do this in week 4. Your story, listen to all of these words, everyone. Your story needs to seduce you, tempt you, as if by telling it, you surrender to yourself and all of the stories that defined your vulnerability. And then in week 5, to wrap it all up, embrace your light. Have you accepted that the light within you fires your passion, illuminates your hope, and defines the faith that you have within yourself? And have you accepted, last one, Andrea, have you accepted it's your light that you must always, and listen to these words, everyone, you must always call for your light, long for your light, and when it arrives, surrender to it. So the atonement cycle 5 stages over the next 5 weeks is fostering forgiveness, to trust yourself to let go, so you'll have the confidence to give, and you can wrap your giving, trusting, and forgiveness in your story, and then embracing your light. So atonement cycle stage 1, fostering forgiveness. Let's do our usual 3 takeaways and ask 3 simple questions. Number 1, is forgiveness a commitment in your life? Yes or no? Number 2, have you ever been seduced by your story? Wait for it, everyone, whilst telling it. And then lastly, do you trust you enough to give with confidence? Most people find it hard to give themselves in their story that seduced them through their vulnerability and their commitment of forgiveness. Most people find it hard to trust themselves to be confident enough to give, and to give is to give with relentless commitment to what you believe to be true for you. Most people are giving, hoping in return they'll get from you the prize of confidence. Andrea, that's the first 5 weeks, or the next 5 weeks of what we call atonement cycle. Everything's going to be linked in this season of Inspiring Insights. So that's the first 5 weeks, and next week we'll redo fostering forgiveness as we begin the cycle next week. Andrea.
Yes, thank you, Stephen. So when you were speaking about seduction of your story and confidence. I had a question. Do you have to have complete confidence in order to be seduced by your story, or does that start with self-trust?
It begins with that cycle. Most people haven't forgiven themselves to actually have self-trust in themselves. So when it comes to that whole, most people are telling their story for the opportunity of vanity, of social likes, and all those types of things. The icons are telling. Have you noticed the people who are the big influencers, big impactors, as I like to reference them, or big icons? They're telling their story with such authentic truth. They don't care about whether you are going to like it or not. They're telling their story. They're telling their story with confidence. They're telling their story of what they stand for. In Shannon's world and in Shannon's community, as I understand it, there's a lot of people outside that community have an assessment of what they think it is or it isn't. And the reality is, what I love about Shannon, she has a commitment to who she is, what she believes in, and she expresses it openly. And yes, there's a lot of potholes on the road, but that's fine. On the road of life, the potholes on the road of life, it's called people's indifference and ignorance. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't miss all the potholes, we hit them. So to your question, Andrea, most people don't have enough confidence to be seduced by their story because they're using their story as a weapon of acceptance.
So true. And that says a lot, because I can, for example, instantly connect with someone when you know they are really seduced by their story. I mean, you can just sense the emotion before the next word comes out. So that makes a lot of sense, Stephen. Thanks for sharing that.
And part of the reason I use the word seduced is not in terms of the gratification and the sexual element of it. When you think of the concept of intimacy, thinking of the concept of being seduced in the positive use of that word, for all of us, regardless of your preferences, for all of us, the concept of being seduced romantically and intimately is one of the most beautiful things in the world. Why isn't your story one of the most beautiful things in the world? Why aren't you making love with who you've become on the journey of who helped you get there?
Yeah. And perfect pivot to self-trust in what we're speaking about today.
Yeah.
Thank you, Stephen. We are ready for the highlight of the show, which is our lovely guests. Are you ladies ready?
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful. So before we get started,
never ask me if I'm ready, but anyway.
Oh, I know you're ready. You're always ready. Even with lack of sleep, you're ready.
There you go.
So, as if you're new to the show, our guests come on, ask a question to help them out as their professional development, their spiritual journey, whatever it may be. And Stephen never disappoints, and it gives life-changing advice. No pressure, Stephen, but it always comes out magically. So before we get started, I'm going to give you a brief promo of what you're going to see next, and then we'll get with our first guest, and we'll see our guests at the very end again. Thank you, ladies, and let's get going. Are we ready?
Yes.
Wonderful.
My question away. My question is, how do I bring people together even though we're far apart?
How do you coach people to trust their passion?
What are the top 3 qualities that I should look for people for me, my brand and business?
What can I do not to make myself so tired and exhausted from other people's pain?
My question away.
Question away.
Okay, question away. So we have Shannon first. Are you ready for your question, Shannon?
I'm ready.
Wonderful. So let me leave you with Stephen. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Hi, Shannon. How you doing?
Hi, Stephen. Thanks for having me.
Look, we're matching.
I love it.
We're matching.
We are.
How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic.
What are we talking about today so we can help some folks?
I want to know what's the best way for me to support my friend for her to see her greatness.
Don't need to know details. Is this a school friend, long-time friend, short-term
One of my
friend?
colleagues, like best friend at work, and she's helped me so much, and I want to support her.
Is she struggling?
Yeah, I think a lot of fear and I try to help her. She's starting her business, but she's afraid to set it up. She's afraid to press send or go, she'll get everything, but then she just can't press that button.
Okay. Well, that's cool because anyone who's ever been anywhere near me knows that I'm a genius at coming up with the most amazing things and forgetting to press the button. There was the board's new because I replaced it during the week because the other board that was supposed to last for 2 to 5 years actually wore out after a year. Go figure. And one of the things that I was playing around with last night, which is kind of funny with what you've just said, is this whole concept. If you dive down onto the board, Andrea, and jump back in with us, one of the things that happens if I'm thinking about and I was playing around last night, just mucking around on the board to see if it would work. Doesn't like red for those. Put red on it. I went to wipe it off and nothing happened. The very first thing, number one, Shannon, is be an example. Be an example of support, friendship, all those types of things. Make a decision, is this person a reason, season, or a lifetimer? Because whichever one they are, be an example for them and help them to actually become something because of your presence in their life. Number one, that's the very first thing. We often have situations, and I'll use some sort of go, no-go, which is very much techo language from technical project management back in the day when I did it. It may not be applicable anymore. But we get to a point in life and business or whatever where we've got a decision point, and what we do is we do a thing called, are we going to go or is it a no-go? And that was the way that we used to run big IT projects back when I was doing all of that stuff long time ago when I was based in London and the States and everything. So you have a situation where you're staying and you're doing life. So you're in a situation of life. So number one, you need to be an example for your friend. Number two, an example in the context from your point of view, Shannon, who do I want her or him?
Her.
Her. Hello, her, if you get to see this, respectfully. You need to be an example to her of what she can become. How do you do that? By being an example of what you've become. And make no apologies for it. She and all of us are in a position where you could just call it, this is where we are in life, whatever that is, personally, professionally, romantically, spiritually, your commercial life, whatever. You're in a position of, I'm here, and there's a point where you've got to make a decision to do something, either to go or to no go. And what typically happens is people miss this bit out. They miss out the bit of, I'm going to commit to whatever my decision is. So if my decision is to switch on the business and hit live, or however that's applicable for her, or open the doors if it's a bricks and mortar, whatever it might be, when you get to this point, you're in a situation where I don't have a business. I'm not in a relationship. I haven't got a community aspect or whatever it might be. I haven't got a dog, and I think I might get a dog, and Minnie arrives. You're in a position where this is where you are in life, and you've got a decision to make. Do I go or do I not go? Do I go live or do I not go live? Do I say yes to that proposal or do I not say yes to that proposal? What the biggest problem most people do is they get to a stage of they make the decision to go or to not go, and they leave this bit out. And what happens, and I'll do it this way, what happens, see, Andrea, I can rub the board off quickly today. What happens is they make a decision to go without a commitment, and they start doing this. And they start almost like a sound wave. And guess what happens in this section and in this section and in this section over here? They start doubting themselves. They start confusing themselves. And in some cases, before they've made the decision, they're already thinking this, which is probably where your friend may be. And then what happens is they go back all the way to here, and they go to the past and start referencing things to prove themselves right. Most people, and I did this as well. In fact, rewind. Everyone does this. We're always forecasting into the future and using the past as a way of actually what's going to prove me right. If I do press go, what if this doesn't work? If I do actually go out on a date with that person, what happens if it's like the last time? So what we do is, as soon as doubt creeps in, we start reflecting. And what happens in this area here, we doubt. So if there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we've got 3 of our 5. So 3/5, which is almost a 3/4 of our effort in our go, is now being second guessed. Does that make sense, Shannon?
Yeah.
Everyone makes a decision to go or not go, but they don't make a decision always with commit. And then the end result is as they start wavering. And as these two lines are zigzagging, we're using doubt to go back to the past. We're then in a position that our go decision or our no-go decision is, oh, I wonder. Magnificent example. Imagine back in the 60s or 70s, and I'll follow up with something else on here. Imagine back in the 60s, 70s, or 80s, or whatever it was, NASA launched a rocket, and when it came back down, it crashed, and it blew up on the pad if they were trying to land vertically. There would have been a national disaster. There would have been, especially if anyone was on board, but even if it was an unmanned or unpersoned spacecraft. When it happened to Elon Musk recently, his immediate reaction was, because he's totally committed with the concept of getting this bigger version of his rocket, this Starship or whatever it's called, to land vertically. Like he knows the other ones do, even though it took 10 years of crashing before he worked it out. Whilst everyone would normally go, oh my God, what a failure, he was standing on the grass at wherever it was in Florida, excited by how much they've learnt because his multi-million-dollar rocket just crashed for the 4th time. And guess what? Sometime in the last fortnight, it landed without crashing. So most people, when you think of the Elon Musk and those types of people, and forget about whether you think good, bad, or indifferent about some of the stuff that he may do, he is so committed to his go decision to get SpaceX and turn us into an interplanetary species that even when it crashes, he hasn't got time because he's totally committed to his decision. So one of the things you want to share with your friend is, number one, actually be an example to her of what she can become because you're around. Number two, what she needs to do is not stay, but make a decision to go. So let's do this for a sec. Let's say that she does a decision to go or to not go, like I've just said. But how do you do this thing called commit, Steve? How do you do that? Simple. Why did you start? And make your focus that. Why did you start? Most people lose a lack of focus because they forgot why they started. Most marriages end, or relationships end, because they forgot why they fell in love. And sometimes it's a natural course that things change. I get all of that. But ask your friend. She's here right now and she's had a thought that I'd like to start a business. She needs to make a decision of go or no go. She needs to make a commitment to that decision. How do you do that? Link these two things together. Why did you start? What's your commitment to go? Why did you start? And what happens is you have, I'm going to do it. Why did I start? I'm going to do it. And all of a sudden you sit in the middle of this loop and you go around and around and around and around and around. People often ask me, Steve, how are you so relentlessly committed to Sadieland? Because of this. Did I ever think that a 10-year-old girl, Peyton, hello Peyton, did I ever think a 10-year-old girl in Salt Lake City would get so nervous about her school media production that she'd run off stage before she was about to run on and go, quickly, let me see Uncle Steve's video, watch my video for a few minutes, gets confidence and runs back on and performs. And the next thing I know, I get this video from her mother, there's Peyton dancing in center stage. Did I ever think that? No, but it's why I started. Did I start so I would actually have a beautiful lady from New York come and ask me questions about her friend? No, but it's why I started, because I wanted to make a difference in someone's life. So to Shannon's friend, I want you to stop long enough with Shannon and ask yourself, why is Shannon in your life? Why have you made a commitment to have her as a friend? And when you understand and lock into that commitment of her friendship, then ask yourself, why did I start my friendship with Shannon? Because of who she is and what it brings into my life. Why do you want to start your business? And when the same feeling of sentiment, emotion, courage, strength runs into your heart and soul like you do when you think of your friendship with Shannon, go. Shannon?
Wow. Whew.
Can you answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the commitment part, I think, is just huge. It's absolutely huge. Like, why did you start in the first place? What made you want to do that?
I was in Malta a long time ago with my then wife, Lorraine, and Uncle Lewis from her side of the family. He was this 60s, probably 80s rest now. Blessed old man. One of the greatest human beings I've ever met, up there with Bob, my mentor. And his wife was coming down the stairs, and they were really elderly, and they lived in this big old house because I don't know what they did. I think they owned the island, but anyway, she's coming down the stairs. Listen to this for commitment, everyone. She's coming down the stairs. It would take her about 3 weeks to come down the stairs because we were going out for dinner, and I think it turned into breakfast. She took so long, but she was coming down the stairs, and he was doing this as she was coming down the stairs. And I thought, Uncle Lewis, what's that all about? And he goes, oh, Mitsubiha, how beautiful you are. And he was waving to her as she was coming down the stairs. She comes down, sits down, and then has to take a breather from coming down the stairs. And I asked them, I said, how after so long, 66 years or whatever it was, how after so long, Uncle Lewis? And she just said, oh, Stephen, he said, we never go to bed without a kiss. And he goes, that was his typical man, get a kiss from the girl. She turned around and she goes, yes, Steve, I always give him a kiss. I don't always like him, but I never stop loving him. Commitment. And she's walking down the stairs at about 3.5 miles an hour, and he's doing this. And he looked like a 16-year-old kid because he gave her a kiss, whether they liked each other or not, at each night for 66 years, but they made the commitment to love. Shannon's friend, make a commitment as to why you started, beautiful, and life will become a very different beast on the other side of you. Let me know how you get along too, by the way. Shannon and Andrea.
Thank you.
Wow. Thank you, Stephen. I can completely relate to what you were saying as well. I wouldn't be here right now helping host this show if it wasn't for myself surrounding myself with new people and new light and a new environment. I was in the place of your friend, Shannon, so I could relate a lot to what Stephen was saying. And what helped me the most is to redefine who I'm connecting myself with. Look at the circles. And unfortunately, she has you, so that's wonderful. But also what I found is the deepest question for me was, what am I afraid of? What is keeping me from doing what I want to do, which is to share my voice. Voice was my word for the year. And I knew what I wanted to do, but I kept being in that, what Stephen called that cycle of going backwards and backwards and forwards, until I just had a direct conversation with myself. And then when someone finally asked me lastly, and perhaps you can ask your friend, put yourself in the scenario, what you care most about. If it is helping people, then just imagine, by you not doing this, by you not sharing your voice, by you not going forward with your initiative or your website, etc., you're helping one less person. Or in fact, you were put on this planet to help a specific person, and because you're not moving forward with your initiative, you're not giving them the chance to grow or the chance to become who they are. So that puts things in perspective too. So I just wanted to share.
Thank you.
Andrea, drop on the board for a sec, because you just mentioned a word, and as soon as you did, I went off on one. So just on the board for a second. One of the things you can do, everyone, is you can actually have circles, and Covey talks about this in terms of circles of influence and everything, but let me just spin off that for a second. You can have circles in your life. What is the circle of your meaning of why did you start? Because that is internal to you. So the circle, what's the circle of meaning in your life? Like in my case, for example, I'm on a relentless commitment to help people. I'm addicted to it, and I have an addiction, everyone, and I'm absolutely happy to tell everyone my life's work is you. That's it. My next book is called My Bucket List Is You. My meaning is that solid in my life that I give up sleep more times than not, and the Desadie ladies always tell me off. So number one, you're going to have a circle of meaning in your life which is internal to you. Why do you breathe? And stop asking yourself, why, what's my purpose? And start asking yourself, and there's a video coming out next week on this in Desadie Land, what is it that you do, and what is the buzz and the impact you do it? And keep asking yourself and exploring, what is it that I do that causes people to go, wow, causes people to create friendships, causes businesses to come back for my services? Because whatever it is that you do is your why. Stop asking, what's my why? What's my mission? What's my purpose? And go sit under a tree and go, oh, what is it? Ask the people that experience the experience of you, because that's your why. Number one, that's how you identify it. What's people's experience of the experience of you? And it will start helping you to understand why you are what you are. Secondly, is what's your circle of influence, which is the community we call we and me. the circle of influence in my life is called Desadieland. It's full of soul shifters, and a lot of those soul shifters, the citizens of Desadieland, are called Desadie ladies. And now there's the children of Desadie. If it was all about relentless commitment to the love of my fellow human beings, what is your circle of meaning? What is your circle of influence? What's internal to you? And who do you love every day? And you call them we and me. Andrea?
Thank you. Wow. I'm just left. Sometimes you just have to admit you don't know what to say. So let's just go with that.
You got to process it and take it all in.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You're just not allowed to ask me what I just said because I have no idea.
So Shannon, I hope that helped. Amazing question. Very relatable to a lot of people, I'm sure, including myself. But we will see you back in toward the end with your aha moment. But as soon as,
hang on,
before we get,
hang on, Andrea, bring it back just one.
Oh,
sec.
yes.
Sorry, sweetie. To Shannon's friend, I want to repeat this again to you. Why do you have a love affair of friendship with someone like Shannon? What is it about Shannon? What is it about you that Shannon loves and you love? And immerse yourself in that for a little while and stop thinking about the button of going live, not going live. Start wondering why beautiful people are in your life, and you'll start doing life beautifully, which means you'll go. Thanks, Andrea.
Thank you.
I hope she gets to
Shannon.
see it.
Thank you, Stephen. I'll see you in a bit, Shannon.
Okay.
Okay. So we ready for question for guest number 2? You really had a great start there, Stephen.
Yes, I know.
So before we get to guest 2, let's take a look and show our guests how they can be involved if they want to sit in the place where Shannon was and where I was in season 1. Let's take a look at that.
My question.
Why is this show an experience?
And not just a show.
I can answer that with a question.
How brave are you?
What happens?
On this show,
You muster up your courage, any of you,
And you go live in front of the world.
and you ask a question of vulnerability that you struggle with.
You are given the awareness you need from the universe.
Prove, Stephen, of how you can handle the struggle.
Can you handle doing that?
Can you?
Because this is your chance personally.
the courage you put into it.
Is equal to the value you get out of it.
Do you have what it takes inside of you to change your life? Only you can decide.
What is your struggle?
And how big is your courage to move through it?
You have no idea what this experience can do for you.
Stephen has a gift
That you can experience.
But only if you have the courage to go live.
Your life will contract.
And expand.
Based on your courage.
This could be your step to expand.
You can. We all did.
Wow.
Ramona's here.
And Ramona's back. You certainly have the courage on season 1 and season 2. Good to see you again, Ramona.
Same here. Same here. Hi.
So you ready for the question?
Yes.
All right. All right. Let me leave you with Stephen.
Hi, Stephen.
How you doing?
Great. Thank you.
Congratulations on the glass, by the way. I haven't had a chance to tell you personally. Congratulations.
Thank
on the
you.
glass.
You left me a message. Thank you. Yeah. Obviously, I was like a child, just like opening a Christmas present. It was just wonderful. My question is about, when you talk about your circle of influence, me and we. And I ride my trike every morning and I have my certain stops where I stop and my daughter says, Mom, you never meet a stranger. I say hello to everyone. I'm like, I can be a little obnoxious about it actually, because I'm like, I want to be friendly. I want to say hi to everybody. I'm curious about people. And there's this one old lady who's at one of my park stops, and she never responds to me. And we sit there at 2 separate picnic tables. I have a little snack. I've offered her my snack. She won't talk to me. I've heard her talk to other people, so I know that she's not deaf. But I want a chance to give love to her. And I'm thinking maybe she may be hurting so much, or she might be angry. And how can I give love to her without seeming, I'm not trying to force myself onto her, but I sense that she's hurting. And I want to be able to share my joy of my life in some way and share that light. And how do I do that without offending her or going past her boundaries?
Okay. The first thing that comes to mind is these three things, which is playing off some of the words that you mentioned. There's routines, reach, and reward in everything that you do. So you have a routine where you go out on your trike. You have a routine that you go out each morning at a particular time. You probably have 2 or 3 different routine routes that you go on, or maybe just one. You have a routine that every time, I understand this, that every time someone comes near you, you're going to actually reach out to them.
Yes.
The issue here is why? For what purpose? What are you doing it for? To go back to my earlier remark, what's the reward for you? Because one of the things is, one of your routines is for you to go out daily. One of your routines is to meet people. One of your routines is to express your appreciation of them. Why? Because you're wanting to express your appreciation of yourself. Probably something in your past has actually caused you to really appreciate where your life is today. So you want to, with the routine of daily meeting people, you want to express how happy you are because there's something happened in your past that's grounded you in the routine of reach. The issue that you've got now is, I want something, which is probably where all of a sudden you go out each day daily and meeting with the expression of wanting to reach out to people. And as soon as you get to this point of want, it almost becomes a stop sign. Because are you actually wanting this? What do you want from this individual?
I feel that she's hurting, and I want to be helpful to her in some way. I don't need her to validate my existence. I just feel that she's hurting, and I worry because of the suicides in my family. So I'm concerned that I want to be there to help her. What if she's hurting? What if she's suicidal? And maybe I could help her in some way.
Okay. Your reward is of your kind heart, and the fact that you're getting emotional about it is proof, which is beautiful. The tears are the soul's way of washing the heart for more. That's what it is. But your what is that she's hurting. Your why is you don't know why. But you've made the assumption she's hurting, and you've also made the assumption that she could be suicidal, and you don't know. Maybe she's only recently lost someone. Maybe something's happened in her life that maybe it's a period of mourning because of her religious beliefs, whatever they may be. Maybe she's just finished. I don't know this. Maybe I know there's a number of people who've just gone through Ramadan and have come out the other end of it with a profound awareness because of how deep they were in that. So all of that is what, but you don't know why. And what's happened is you've just made the assumption that the why has got something to do with negative.
Yes.
You don't know why. I don't know why those children are being so disobedient on the train. All I know is what I want is to get the guy to get him to sit down. Doesn't know why. And then when he found out, how do you tell them that their mother's never coming home again? Oh, all of a sudden the conversation changes.
Yeah.
So the very first thing is, as soon as you go daily routine of meeting people, daily routine of expressing gratitude towards people, your daily routine of going to work, your daily routine of being a good C-suite manager, your daily routine of being a good small business owner. But if your reward is focused on your assumption of what you think without understanding why, then all of a sudden this starts getting affected. Because you start going, well, I'm not sure what to do with my routine and reach now, because you're down here making an assumption of what you think. Maybe the person's not used to, and here's the thing, most people are not used to people being kind. God, I know that. I'm supposed to be the guy that should charge a hell of a lot more, and I shouldn't be so available, and I shouldn't get on phone calls for as long as I sometimes do. I shouldn't be sending messages off to people's children for no fee at all, because I should be, put your name down here, charge me this money, and I'll show you how to get this pool. Look at this pool. Have you seen the swimming pool that I've got? Give me your details, because I'm Steve and I know how to do stuff. So the end result is a lot of people take it for granted. Some people give me 15 minutes notice of a meeting after a week. And they're not, I don't know why. So I don't know why. I know what it is. But I first of all I wonder what's happening in their life for them to be so indifferent to me, because I know they care. So one of the things you want to do, everyone, and this is inspired by Ramona, your routines in life are going to be affected. Your routines, the reach, and the reward. If you define your reward based on what you think they're experiencing and why you should fix it, this lady might be in a situation of quiet reflection, because like Uncle Lewis or Aunt Dolly would have been at the time when they finally parted, a little bit like the Queen and Prince Philip after 73 years, she might be in a period of mourning, and there's nothing wrong. She's in a period of mourning out of respect to this beautiful situation that's now left her life. But according to you, she's suicidal, because you've seen her sitting quietly. She's not reaching back to you in the routine way that you've defined. So you immediately are now starting to get negative. What if? Well, what if not? So one of the things that goes back to what I said, Ramona, at the beginning of the show, you are going to be in this lady's life for a reason, which might be just passing on the path each morning. You might be in a season. You might even form a relationship, and it will be a lifetime. But it's about who you're becoming while you're doing it and what example you're providing. You might have to spend the next month doing nothing more than smiling and getting nothing back.
I can do that. I can do that.
That's what you should do. And you should focus more on making sure you're maxing out on your routine, maxing out on your reach, and asking yourself, this reward, is it for me or is it for we? Because most people is, I will actually put out content. I'll start a business. I'll get onto internet dating if that's your thing. I'll get into a friendship. I'll go to some meetup groups. I'll go to networking groups. I will go to the routine, and we'll do that one. We'll go to the routine of meeting into a networking group. And as we sort of come through COVID, hopefully that's what's happening, I can now physically go and do that instead of Zoom. So I'm in the routine of going out so I can reach people to do, guess what? Hi, I'm Steve. Buy my stuff. What is your reward for someone interacting with you? You know what mine is? You come near me, I'm going to change the way you breathe. Because when you discover who you are via association with the Sadieland, it takes your breath away. I know it does, because I only have to ask you and Andrea. Did it take your breath away after you became involved into Sadieland?
Absolutely. I have been reborn. It has given me a whole new outlook on life. I'm stronger. I'm faster.
Okay, cool.
I'm happier. Yes. I do feel reborn. It's been a metamorphosis, like a butterfly. I feel like just the most beautiful, sparkling butterfly. Yes.
Back on the board for me, Andrea. In your journey being associated with me, because I didn't know you at all and you came on the show through probably referral, or you saw the show as it happened last year. My routine was endlessly telling you that if you come near me, I'll change the way you breathe. My reach was endlessly sending content out, and my reward was for you to look in the mirror and love what you see.
You succeeded.
So the point is, so this doesn't turn into sort of like some quasi promo for Steve. What is your routines? What is your reach? But most of the time, and spend 2% of your time focused on that. Spend 98% of your time defining why you breathe. And if the answer doesn't include we, then you need to go back and spend more quality time in your 98. 2% of your life is going to be the routines. What's that called? Brushing your teeth. How much do you focus on brushing your teeth? You just do it. 2% of your time should be on the conscious choice of you reaching and being an impact on others. 98% of your time should be, how do you influence the life of someone else? Because if you're not influencing the life of someone else, why are you here? And that's a message to everyone. So what you need to do is, with a routine, reach out with a smile and do it the next day, 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 and do it the next day. Because your reward is to remind that person sometime 6 months from now, when you don't see her anymore, if that's what happens. There was one person in my life through that period of mourning that told me it was time for me to live in honor, if that's what she's doing, or for me to actually realize there's people who love me because a stranger used to smile at me every day. Stop looking for the reward to be something about you and start looking for the reward to be, I never, ever, ever expected a little girl would run off a school play stage to watch my video for 30 seconds to rebolster her confidence and run back on. I never, ever knew that would happen. But guess what? It's why I do it. Andrea?
Thank you, Steve. Totally agree. And what I wanted to share as well is I wanted to introduce you the Desadie mascot, Minnie. So the reason I brought Minnie up is because, thank you, Minnie, is because she is an example to me of what Stephen just said. And I have, when she comes to me all the time, when she feels that I may not be feeling well, but she doesn't know. She doesn't know what's going on in my head. I may just have a bad day full of allergies. I may have seen something in the news that upset me, or I may have something more serious that is affecting me and completely depressed. But she doesn't know. Regardless, she shows up consistently, unconditionally, with her love and with her kindness. And just the sight of her, even though sometimes I may not feel like, okay, Minnie, I can't play with you right now, I don't have the energy. Just the sight of her reminds me that there is good out there, even though I may be in a negative mood, or it refocuses me. So my advice to you is be like Minnie. Be like Minnie. And advice to me too is just continue to be present. And it doesn't have to take a lot. I mean, just a smile, just a note to say hello, a text to say hello. Again, what Stephen said, they may not be going through something incredibly difficult, but we make the assumption when we don't have information of just the worst case scenario. It's just human nature. It's how we were brought into this planet, caveman years. But just continue to be present and don't ever stop being having such a huge heart, because I mean that's unbelievable, and I applaud you for that.
Thank you.
You can tell I've got a new whiteboard. Everything that Andrea just said, if you're a C-suite executive, you run a small business, you're in a community, you're in a friendship, you're in a romance, you're in love. Whichever one of those you are, C-suite, small business, community, friendship, romance, and love, be an example in each one of them to the people that in some way are looking up to you or interacting with you. Be a guide to some of those people. And that might be putting a smile on your face to someone who doesn't smile back. Be a support to people. That might be putting a smile on your face to someone who doesn't put back. So if you're a C-suite executive and people go, oh, it's B2B, Steve, and I get this all the time. It's B2B, Steve. Let's talk about business. Okay. Let's take all the people out of your B and their B, so that your business, their business, B2B. Let's take all the people out of your business, all the suppliers, take the people out of that, all of the HR, all of the support, all the admin, all the technology. Let's take all of those people out of it and do the same for their business, and then go to B to C, take all the people out of your business, take all of the customers out of business, out of the customer base, take the people out of B2B and B2C. What do you got left? Nothing. So when COVID came along last year and business all got about people, everyone freaked out, because guess what? I couldn't have my conversation in the corner office about it's B2B. What happens when the corner office in 2017, you find out that your son's been diagnosed with cancer, and all of a sudden the boss walks out the door because B2B and B2C becomes irrelevant and the people bit comes into it. So if you're a C-suite, small business, community, friendship, romance, or love, be an example in each one of those areas of your life. And that might be an example at a meeting. I know Andrea's had a really busy meeting, and she's a senior in her employment. Be an example. Be a guide. Be a support. And by the way, everyone, be selfless. Stop thinking your business and life is about you. Andrea?
Yes, it's definitely that's the key. And when I heard Stephen say that to me in season 1, It's not about you. It's about everyone else, and why you the gifts that you have as yourself, how you contribute to this world. So when you start seeing it that way, it really puts things in perspective.
Yeah, instead of, I never considered, because one of the stops is at a park, that she could just be enjoying the park, and maybe she just has that resting, not so nice looking face,
Right.
Yeah, but Ramona, and this is a message at the start of the show, you can know what someone is doing, someone is saying, someone is behaving. You don't know why. And if more people spent more time stopping the haste of assessment and started to understand what's actually behind that, all of a sudden life would be a little bit different. People put boundaries around themselves in life, and boundaries based on what they think the other person's doing, as opposed to boundaries based on what they hope the other person might be going through. So that lady she might have one of those faces that's just one of those faces, said respectfully. Guys are like that. God knows we are. Maybe stop making an assumption based on what you think she should be doing.
You're right.
Yeah. And Ramona, I've been accused of having to smile all the time, and it's because I'm in mid-thought. I don't smile when I'm thinking hard. So that might be the case too. You never know.
Yes, you're right. Absolutely. I just wanted to, I'm just so full of love and energy, and I want to give it out to everybody, and everyone is usually so accepting, and here's this one person not accepting, and of course I made it about me. Why? What am I doing wrong? Or is she, I went immediately to tragic thinking, like, oh my gosh, what if I could have helped her and she was in a negative space and I wasn't able to help her, So you're right. You're right. I have no idea why she's sitting there and why she's not responding.
Yeah, but if your routine and reaches in life are always predicated on the reward that you've preset, you're going to do what's happening to you right now. Instead of being this person who's like, it happens to me every single day. Every single day, I get all these amazing comments about, aren't you great, Steve? Every single day, someone will be completely indifferent and because the first thing that happens is people aren't used to people being gracious, generous, chivalrous. They're not used to it. The number of times I stand at the door and let a lady of any age go first, and they look at me as if to think, what do you want? Nothing, I'm being a gentleman. So Ramona, stop allowing your routine and reach to be influenced by the one person you've made an assumption is doing something that you don't think's right, and you don't even know what it is.
You're right.
Just smile, just smile, just smile, just smile, just smile. 98% of people in life are going to frown back at you. The 2% are the ones who are going to change the world. You're in the 2%. Don't let the 98 influence you. You love them to bits, but you do 3 things. Lead me and I'll be a servant to your leadership. Follow me and I'll be your servant leader. Or step aside and I'll be a servant by my example as I pass you by. If anyone offends me, I never actually get annoyed. I get really tired and stuff, but I never get really annoyed. My attitude's really simple. I'm going to be a servant by my gracious passing by, because you never know, as you're halfway across, they reach out to you and think, you know what, I've never seen anyone treat me like that before. Yeah, good. Get into a habit of people going, I've never met anyone quite like you. I get that all the time. And I'm proud of it. Why? Because it's egotistical. Oh, Steve, I've never met anyone quite like you. I think it's really sad that I'm being chivalrous in this instance towards a lady, or I'm being gracious and generous. And people go, I've never met anyone quite like you. And I think, whilst most people would go, aren't I good? I think it's devastating that you mean to tell me in your life you haven't met someone who's gracious and generous, and you think I'm unique? Let everyone listening, everyone associated with Desadieland, let's turn gracious generosity into a common element of the human species.
I like that.
Yes, absolutely. Let's make kindness contagious. And don't ever lose your spirit and your empathy, Ramona. I'm proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Anything else for Ramona, Stephen?
No, Ramona, you're just accept this. This might sound negative. You're going to walk down the road of life and meet 100 people, and a fair portion of them are not going to appreciate what you do. Doesn't stop you from doing it.
Absolutely.
Doesn't stop you from doing it.
Got it.
So
Thank
just
you
keep doing it. Just keep doing it.
Thank you so much, Ramona. We will see you back in a little bit, but I appreciate your question. Very powerful.
Thank you.
Okay, that was really great. Always good nuggets that I can take away with myself, Stephen. Always. And it's so hard not to have to take
I
notes
was
right now.
just going to say, for those who don't know Andrea that well, she's an absolute fiend when it comes to taking notes. So in hosting the show and doing all the stuff she's having to do, she can't take notes.
It's torture. It's torture. I purposely put my pen far away.
Exactly.
But you know, this is all a sneak peek of everything that obviously for people that don't know you that you offer. Let us know how else can people be involved in Decidedland, and I'll show a little clip in a minute.
Yeah, I often get asked what it is that I actually do, and it's kind of in verticals. And the one that I'm focused on at the moment is this whole thing around soul shifters and Decidedland. So Decidedland is this mystical place which has an institute and an academy in it, and there's all kinds of courses from everything from your mind, your message, your method, your meaning, and mastery. It's basically to get you to wake up to what you really are. And it's fundamentally based on the 4 towers that make up who you are, not your values and beliefs, but your expertise. So the Decidedland has an academy inside the institute. It has a cafe, which is group coaching, which is very, very personal. And then it also has a almost like an exhibition where events run in it as well. But the biggest thing, and it's probably something you could reply to, the biggest thing about what I'm building is the insane sense of community. Children are running off stages to watch videos to get confidence to go back on again. 10-year-old kids. So everything I'm doing, I was only saying this to a friend earlier this week, I have built Decidedland for everyone that's in it. I haven't built a product and selling it to anyone. So there's an entry point into Decidedland, there's an entry point into the Institute, and then there's an entry point into things what I call soul evolution and things. So it's all staged, and then there's some corporate and commercial stuff that I do as well. But the main thing I'm doing right now, have you got less than $1.50 a day to join a community that's actually impacting the way children believe their confidence should be at a school play? Because every single one of them, without getting into details, even Andrea's daughter is actually being impacted by what we do, and it's something that's I'm really proud of. It's the vertical called Decidedland in the community called Soul Shifters.
Very true. So let's give everyone a sneak peek here.
Welcome to Soul Evolution, Institute plus Academy plus one-to-one coaching, future state mapping, discovery to execution, assets assignment, and marquee marketing. Future state mapping takes into account a number of different classes from inside the Institute. Discovery to execution, behavioral marketing, how to build and develop content. It also provides you with all of the assets and all of the tools that I use to build and develop my brand. Assets assignment, my academy class, your expertise everywhere. How do you assemble and package everything about your brand? Whether you're active in creating online content or whether your brand and your business and services is offline. And then finally, defining marquee as leading and preeminent. How do you create a marquee look, marquee social, marquee content, marquee message, and marquee community? And there's a number of courses inside the Academy that provide this. As always, there'll be a set number of sessions you'll have with me. If you haven't done the pre-work, don't come to the session. It's a workshop, it's not a talk shop, it's to get things done. Be well and be brilliant, and I'll see you inside of Soul Evolution.
Soul Evolution is the next great thing. I really encourage people to check that out. We've come to the end of the show, and this is perhaps one of my favorite parts is the aha moments. There's always so many of them. And since I did not take notes today, I have to remember them. But let's go ahead and start with our guest. Ramona, what has been your aha moment today?
Funny enough, it was connected to Stephen. You talked about, I took notes. You talked about that trusting yourself, making love with who I've become on my journey. And I noticed when you were getting ready, the few minutes before the show went live, I could see your hands on the whiteboard. I could see the ritual of you getting ready, and it was a meditative thing. And I thought it was really a beautiful thing. I thought the moment was really meditative, and I think what was an aha thing for me was, and I took notes again because I didn't want to lose these thoughts, was the respect and the honor that you gave. To your gift, that energy of your gift, that you gave it the respect and honor to, take the time to like have a few moments with the whiteboard and center yourself. I thought that was beautiful because it totally ties into that trusting of self and making love with who you've become in your journey. So for me, I saw that aha moment at the beginning. And but when you talked about trusting yourself, that just those two things just like immediately clicked for me.
Wow.
Thank you, Ramona. Shannon, welcome back.
Oh, thanks. Ramona, I noticed the exact same thing. The exact same thing. I saw his hands, I saw the towel, and I was like, magic is about to happen.
Yes.
For sure. I really appreciated your segment because we live next to an elderly lady and we shovel her snow every time it snows. We've done this for the past 10 years. Our houses are like connected and attached. That's what they say in New York, attached. She's never said thank you, right? And I know she knows that we're shoveling her snow. And I'm like, why can't she just say thank you, So after 10 years, she passed away. And her daughter saw me outside one afternoon. And she said, Mom really appreciated you all shoveling the snow for her. And I was like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, she just never communicated it. Yeah. Wow.
That's beautiful.
Andrea?
Oh, yes. Perhaps my greatest aha moment, if I'm being completely honest today, is the topic is so close to me, about trusting self. To trust self, you have to let go. And today, this hour has been an experiment of trusting myself because I am new at this production thing. And I wish I could have practiced more. There's always, I wish I could have done more. I wish I could have done this, but I have to trust myself that I'm good enough for this moment. And, the experience will come, but I need to have fun and I need to trust myself that I'm here for a reason. So, that additional reinforcement of that message was really good for me.
Can I ask one thing? Stephen, you said something so powerful. I was trying to jot it down. Tears are the soul's way of watching the heart.
No, tears are the soul's way of cleansing the heart for more.
Cleansing the heart for more.
Yeah,
okay.
So I often think, because I've done a fair bit of crying, because I'm not one of those guys who doesn't say he cries and stuff. I do, because things mean things to me. But I always think that whenever you're crying, it's the soul's way of forgiving your heart, cleansing it, saying we're good to go. Come on. To me, that's what it is. Every time you start crying, stop thinking it's a reflection of sadness, and start thinking it's a reflection of renewal, and it's your soul saying, "I've got you, buddy." Imagine your soul and your heart having a conversation. When your heart hugs your soul, your eyes cry. That's how it works. Well, you can't say that to a C-suite executive. Well, trust me, they start watery eyes when they get the phone call. That everyone, and I say this without being offensive, I'm the guy that you come to when life punches you in the face. And I don't say that, I say that with delicately in front of ladies particularly, but it may not be something as crucial as something in the context of a bereavement in your family or an illness in your family. It might just be you sitting there and thinking, I was doing a really good job. I've got a close friend of me who's doing a fantastic effort in his work, but strategically the company are wanting to do some other little fun and games, so they let him go. And it was just the definition of who you are. I'm the guy inside of Desadieland that you come to when you think the mirror of life is making you second guess yourself, wherever that is, whether it's a bereavement, whether it's an illness, whether it's going home because you have to work from COVID and you're not sure you can define your authority because my corner office is gone. I'm the guy you come to. And Andrea, when you said, what is it that we do? I'm positioning myself to actually be the someone that you lean on when you know you can stand tall. Do you want me to do this now, Andrea? Oh, I just went off on one. There you go. It's all Shannon's fault. Ramona. And well, come back to me on main screen for a second. Everyone, one of the things that you should forgive yourself for and foster forgiveness, and this is what I'm doing, is starting the discovery of what it is that you're supposed to do. Because every single day, the what of what I do is starting to come back to me about the impact I have on people. And everyone, I spent my whole life thinking it. I thought the beginning of the show, when nothing was happening before the show started, I thought that was like, well, we should be saying something. I didn't know that Ramona and Shannon were actually experiencing something. Stop making an assumption that what you do doesn't have an impact on others, even if it's an old lady who appreciates the snow but doesn't know how to say thank you. Back on the board, Andrea. So keep my pen out. I always do my pen. No, I won't do my pen because I can't tap my brand new board. Ramona, you said trust. Get present in your life because the reflections enables your gifted execution. Trust who you be and stop defining your life based on whether people react to it. So be present and be who you be. Shannon, giftedness attaches you to your honor. Many don't know thank you in words. They don't know it. You know why? Because they were raised without ever receiving it. How often have we heard people that they struggle because dad, particularly in men and stuff, my father never told me he loved me. So then all of a sudden they struggle to find a way of telling their daughters they love them when that's all a woman or a girl wants to hear. So Shannon, your giftedness attached to your honor. Many don't know how to say thank you in words. And Andrea, let go of the feelings you deserve because you deserve the moments to be present. So trust the giftedness of letting go to be present in your execution by trusting you, attached to your honor, regardless of whether anyone says thank you. And your feelings deserve you in the moment, so be present to them because life's about the gift you've been given so you can be a gift to others.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Like watching a magic trick.
Yeah.
Like, how did he have my card?
Yeah, I have to catch myself. Andrea, say something. Okay, I will.
No, you don't. It's okay.
So thank you, Stephen. It resonates. How did it resonate with you, ladies?
Yes, absolutely.
And Andrea, great job tonight.
Thank you, Shannon. Thank you.
I didn't know it was only your second time. You're doing great. Yeah. And people expect mistakes to happen. So, and we don't know it's a mistake. We have no idea.
Yeah.
Exactly. Put it this way: a lot of people have an introduction and an intro and an outro, which inside the platform we use is just a simple thing. You press a button, it comes and goes, and then they sit and they have a conversation. Andrea's running a show where there's multiple in-show ads, there's multiple in-show promotions, there's multiple screens moving around. There's a set way, as many of you inside of Soul Shifters saw, in terms of the 9 ways and the sort of 11 different elements of the way this whole thing works. And then in the middle of all of that, she can't take notes, and then I'm letting rip, and she's dying to take notes. I think she did an outstanding job. Obviously, Kelly's not with us today, but this is not... proof in the pudding. I've got to say this, Andrea. I've been applying to get LinkedIn Live for a year for this show to be on LinkedIn Live. And every single day I see people open their laptop and give some good stuff out, and it's just them talking to a screen and they get live. Great. I've been asking 13 times for 12 months since May last year, and they keep saying no. So all I'm doing is making sure the show gets better and better and better. And everyone, the reason this show has so much effort put into it, if you come on and talk to me about the most soulful things in your life, I don't have the right to not roll up with the most beautiful environment for you to say it in. Andrea?
Well said. I need to call out something and give a special moment to somebody, if you don't mind, Stephen.
No,
I want to call out Melody, who I did not introduce at the very beginning
the guru lady. God,
because
you're in
I
trouble.
was nervous. But Melody is backstage. She's our production coordinator. She's amazing. She deserves a moment, because thank you so much, Melody, for all that you do. And so many other people. I know we have Sarah that joined today. Hello, Sarah. We have Michelle that joined today. Hello, Michelle. Welcome to Maribel. Great to see you, Maribel. So I just wanted to, as I get used to this chat thing, I wanted to make sure and acknowledge all of you guys. So thanks for being here.
That's really good. And also to Kelly, I know she's not here today, but we're juggling lots of balls trying to get all of this to work. So Melody's in the background time coding everything that'll be cut out to make content for it and all kinds of stuff. So we're basically aiming the 1st of June we'll have gone through the pilot phase. But as I said to Shannon and Ramona when I invited them to come on the show, and there's people coming in from Luxembourg in the middle of the night next week, if you cut, and Renee knows this as well, you come on the show in this practice mode, we're going to change your life, because I don't practice. I'm just present. Everyone, be present to the gift that you've been given. Not because this is your one shot at life. It's your one opportunity in the next moment when you meet someone to tell them that you love them, because you never know if they've been craving for it all their life.
Very true. So with that, it's another show. Oh my goodness. That's it.
Hey, Stephen, if it makes you feel any better, I never got LinkedIn Live either.
No, it's fun.
Who knows?
Who knows? I don't know. They close off my request inside an hour, so who knows? I don't. And to be honest, it doesn't matter, because now that we've got all the elements of the show down pat, we are about to get absolutely relentless on how we promote it.
Yeah.
I make no apologies for the fact that I'm hunting for people's souls who are second guessing themselves. I'm hunting for them, and in the most beautiful possible use of that word. I'm hunting them for the single purpose of hugging them and inviting them to Desadieland.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
Cool.
We must trust the journey. Perfect. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here. Ramona, Shannon, always a pleasure to see you, and your powerful questions. It meant a lot.
Thank you.
And we'll see you again soon, hopefully.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank you, ladies.
Brilliant. Bye. Gotta love Ramona's hat. Gotta love Ramona's hat.
We need to get you a hat too, Stephen.
I don't look good in hats. I got my little orange thing, brand color.
Yeah, looking nice.
Yeah. But there you go. Thank you so much, Andrea. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you, Melody, for all the time coding that you'll do and everything. I really appreciate that too. And Kelly, we'll get it sorted out and we'll have you back. So that's really good too.
Yes. Great, Kelly. We missed you. So join us next week, everybody, as we go to episode number 3 of season 2, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Central.
Yes. Atonement week 1 will start next week, which is
yes. All right. See you next time.
Be well, be brilliant, everyone. Take care.
Start investing in the world called your dreams.